Hello, fourth grade. It's Mr. Bowie here. Today in writing, we're going to be talking about opinion writing. So, our target is I can identify the author's opinion. So, how do we find an author's opinion? So, the author's perspective or viewpoint is how the author feels about the subject. In order to determine the author's perspective, you need to figure out what opinion or attitude the author has about the subject. So, to determine the author's perspective, you need to ask yourself, what is the author's purpose for writing? So, for us to identify the author's opinion or attitude, we need to ask ourselves, what is the author's purpose for writing? So, we're going to read this little article. It says, parties are simply a waste. I have never understood the importance of parties in the classroom. As a mother of two school aged children, I do believe that the public schools should no longer allow classroom parties during the school day. Time is precious to the students in school today. Our school year is already too short. Teachers can barely get all the basics of the curriculum into the required instructional minutes of the day. Certainly, there is no time for the impractical or silly. School time is best spent focusing on the primary goal, learning. And what about food? For health and safety reasons, school often requires that food for these celebrations be purchased from a store. This is a real difficulty for many families. Cookies for 30 students plus drinks and napkins can add up to what it costs a family to eat a meal at home. The cost of a classroom party is easily a problem for many people, particularly those in difficult economic times. And we all know that our children consume enough sugar and junk food without the school promoting such unhealthy choices. All the waste that a party can create is overwhelming. Remember those birthday parties when I would just buy the disposable plates, cups, silverware, and napkins so that I didn't need to do any cleanup. But even squeezing and pushing, I barely managed to fit all the party time rubbish into the trash can. Multiply this by an average school of 16 classroom and over 400 students. Such unnecessary waste only adds to the problem for our ever growing landfills. I am not sure when our public schools decided that classroom parties need to become a part of the school calendar, but I do not see the importance. Children are watching adults all hours of the day and looking up to these adults for guidance. Showing an interest in homework and volunteering in classrooms should be our PTA responsibility, not preparing for parties. Therefore, I do believe schools should ban classroom celebrations. Our tax dollars must be focused on the learning of our children. So, our assignment is to figure out what's the author's purpose in this article I just read. So, we need to figure out what message is the author trying to get across to you. So, you have space to write your answer here, and you just need to figure out what is the author's opinion. You don't need to write a whole story about anything, but just what point is the author of this article trying to get across? Good luck, fourth grade.